Hi everybody, welcome to Fun Food Friday. What I'm going to be making today is something that I saw. It's a Dolly Parton recipe and it's the Cupa cake. And from what I've been reading on it, it's very, very sweet that they serve it with ice cream on the side. But what I want to do is I want to try and cut the sugar in it. And yeah, so I'm going to bring you down here, show you what I got going on. It's simple recipe. They call it a Cupa cake. So I got everything that I need. Okay, so what the recipe calls for is a cup of, and my cup don't fit, a cup of self-rising flour. And I don't have self-rising flour, so I'm going to make my own. And this is how you make your own. I'm going to use 1 cup of all-purpose flour. And when you're measuring your flour, guys, don't pat it down in the cup. You know what I mean? Like, you want it to be, I hope you can see that, fluffy. So this is a 1 cup measure. And I want 1 cup of flour. So what you do is you basically fill your 1 cup up, and then you take a knife or a spatula, whatever you have, and you level it off like so, and put it in there. So there we go. We got 1 cup of flour. Now to make it an all-purpose, not all-purpose, I'm using all-purpose flour. Now to make my flour a self-rising flour, you have to add baking powder. So I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And that's going to give it the leavening that it needs. So there's 1, and we want 1/2. 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, that's in there. Now what you want is you want 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So let me find my 1/4 teaspoon right here. And put that in there. Right here, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now what I want to do is I'm going to mix that all together like that. Now the recipe, because it's called Cupa, it's a cup of self-rising flour and a cup of sugar. I'm not going to use a cup of sugar. No. And you can sift this too. You don't have to do this. You can sift these ingredients together. Okay. So what I'm going to use is 1/2 cup of sugar. Now this is an experiment, so we're going to see, you know, if it works out with less sugar. All right. This is a 1/4 cup measure right here. So I'm going to put 2 of these in there. There we go. So that's 1/2 cup versus the cup that it asks for. So we're going to see if this is going to work out. All right. And then the last ingredient that you want to put in here is a can of fruit cocktail. Now, they're using regular fruit cocktail in the syrup. I'm using a no sugar added fruit cocktail packed in water. So let me get this open. And it calls for a cup of this. This can is 14.5 ounces. And there you go. Smells good. And I'm just pouring it all in there, the whole can. Okay. And then you want to mix this up. To get all that flour mixed up in the juices. And the sugar and everything else. But like I said, if you have self-rising flour, just use a cup of that. If you want the regular recipe, a cup of that, a cup of sugar, and a can of your fruit cocktail. The regular one. I'm trying to lessen the sugar in this so it's not so sweet, and to see, that's what it looks like, to see how it turns out. Okay, so what I have here is an 8x8 baking dish. I'm going to butter this dish and pour this in the dish. Okay, so now that we have all this mixed up right here, I have a buttered 8x8 pan. Yeah, I kind of buttered it a lot, didn't I? And what I'm going to do is pour this right in here. Now you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And you want to bake this. I'm going to bake it for 45 minutes or until you see that it's bubbly and brown. Bubbly and browning. So let me spread this out in my pan. And I'm going to get this in the oven. I'll check it before 45 minutes just to make sure. But that's what I'm going to do. Try and even it out in this pan. And we'll see how this turns out with our less sugar. All right, see if it's still good. And yeah, there you go. It's an experiment, guys. We're experimenting. All right, guys, when this is done, we'll come back and we'll try it. Here is the cake, everyone. Just came out of the oven. This is what it's looking like. So I'm going to let it cool. Yep, this just came out of the oven. It's still very hot. I'm going to let it cool and we're going to come back and we're going to try it. But I wanted to show it to you right out of the oven. Okay, so I cut a small piece out here in the corner. It cut good. I let it cool down somewhat. So let's give it a try and see if the reduced sugar worked. Alrighty. Here we go. That's what it looks like. Reminds me of a dump cake. Yes. I do think that you can get away with reduced sugar. Because this is sweet, but it's not overly sweet at all. It's actually good. Yeah. So my edges got brown more than the other. So let's try it. I always like the edges on a cake. Okay. What I think I would do different is I would still keep the sugar to a half a cup, but I would use regular fruit cocktail. That's what That's what I think that I would do with that. Is use the regular fruit cocktail. It might punch it up a little bit. It's good like this. You know, if you want to reduce sugar. I mean, it'll satisfy your sweet tooth. I think so. And then again, you can put ice cream on the side like they suggest. Okay, guys. Let me know if you're going to try it the reduced sugar way. I think it works, but yeah, I would use regular fruit cocktail in it, not the no sugar. Yeah. So that's what I would make. This was an experiment. You know, we were just trying it to see if you can get away with less sugar. I think you can, you know, a cup versus a half a cup. But I think as far as more flavor, I would have to go with the regular fruit cocktail on it. Yeah. Not bad though. Not bad. But like I said, regular fruit cocktail. Okay, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you tried this with reduced sugar, and how did yours turn out? Do you have any suggestions that would take this up a notch? Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Have a safe day. And until next time, bye now.